Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the pre-market video for equity, guys. My name is Chirag, an NISM certified technical analyst, and let's get into the view for today. On Friday, we saw Nifty, Bank Nifty, and Sensex all close towards the day low, which is definitely bearish in nature. But then looking at today's data, we see that Nifty futures is trading at a premium of 78 points. Bank Nifty futures is definitely trading at a premium of 162 points. We also see that India VIX has gone up by around 3.68%. So the volatility index or the fear index is definitely higher. So that is definitely looking bearish right now. So crude oil futures also we see has come down 0.85%, which is bullish in nature, and also crude oil is trading at below pre-COVID levels. So the overall view for crude oil is definitely bullish in nature. Coming to GIF Nifty, we see that GIF Nifty has a small gap down of minus 6 points compared to Nifty futures, and this is very negligible. So it would be a flat open or a small gap down. Compared to gold bees and silver bees now, we see gold bees is up 0.5%, silver bees is up 0.26%, possibly some hedging positions against the market in the commodity section from the FIS or DIS here. Moving on to the sectors, we definitely see that all the sectors are very bearish in nature here. You see selling in all the sectors, which is extremely bad here. Key sectors like even banking and IT are seeing huge amounts of selling. Moving on to the advanced decline ratios, we see that 1966 stocks have closed near the day low, whereas only 983 stocks have closed towards the day high. Right, definitely the market is giving a bearish sentiment here, so that is something that we need to keep in mind. Looking at the FII DII data here, we see that the FIIs have come back to buying in the cash market after a long time. Actually, the first time this month, with almost 2,000 crores buying here, and the DIIs are also, matching that and more, with almost 7,700 crores of buying in the cash market. Moving on to the F&O segment, we see that there is selling for index futures in the by the FIIs, and for stock futures there is also selling for about 2,000 crores. So in the long term view in the cash market, the FIIs have come back for buying, but in the short term intraday view, we definitely see a good amount of selling here, which is bearish for the intraday view. But then for the long term view, there is about a good amount of buying there, that is bullish. Moving on to the advanced decline ratios, this is looking very bearish in nature for both Nifty and Bank Nifty. Nifty only having 9 advances, 14 declines, and Bank Nifty having 0 advances and all 12 declines here. Very, very bearish sentiment in the market. So coming to the option chain here, 1 minute. Yeah, okay. So coming to the option chain here, we see that on the left side, the puts, we see buying in both in the money and out of the money, which is definitely bearish in nature. And on the right side, we see selling in the money and out of the money calls, which is overall a bearish sentiment in the option chain. So keeping that in mind, we're looking at the resistances at where the markets could reverse from. So we see 24,500 and 24,450 levels with the most amount of volumes there. So we can definitely expect reversals from around that area there. So those are two areas that you need to keep in mind. Moving on to the global indices, we see that the US is opened positively all around. So Nasdaq up 0.98%, S&P up 0.78%, and Dow Jones up 0.47%. Moving on towards Europe, Europe over here. One second. Yeah, Europe over here, we see the Germans are down 0.12%, FTSE very neutral, a small negative of 0.06%, and France CAC is up 0.44%. Finally, moving on to the Asian markets, we see Nikkei has opened and oh, it's not open actually. Nikkei is was closed at a positive of 1.85%, and we see Kospi at a positive of 0.11% here. So definitely bullish all around in the global markets here, except for Europe. Looking at Indian ADRs, so looking at the Indian ADRs, we definitely see that there is sort of a neutral uh, holdings in Indian ADRs, a little bit of buying, a little bit of selling, mostly neutral. But we do see a good amount of selling in HDFC, but then also a good amount of buying in Dr. Reddy's here. So neutral data when it comes to Indian ADRs. Finally, when it comes to the futures segment here, right? We see that US futures is up both in all of in US 30, US 500, and US Tech 100 here. Just coming back to the option chain again, looking at the PCR for the option chain, we definitely see that there's going to be a strong V-shaped recovery that's going to happen today because PCR is at 0.48 levels, right? So definitely a strong recovery here because PCR is at extremely oversold levels. So moving on to the view for today, guys. We see the supports and resistances is marked on the screen. The main thing is we cannot be breaking S1 today. It is definitely a buy on dip view. We have to go towards R1, R2, R3 and possibly break them and get that recovery going on there. I think buy on dip, again, buy on dip is the view. You should definitely be seeing what is going on in the first 15 minutes. That is also pretty important to look at in the day, but overall we should see a bullish view. And but no matter what the view is, please trade your setup. Make sure that you guys are following a single indices and a single time frame, and make sure that you guys are consistently sticking to your setup and not your emotions. Thank you guys for tuning into the view. See you guys tomorrow. Being what is going on in the first 15 minutes, that is also pretty important to look at in the day, but overall we should see a bullish view. And but no matter what the view is, please trade your setup. Make sure that you guys are following a single indices and a single time frame, and make sure that you guys are consistently sticking to your setup and not your emotions. Thank you guys for tuning into the view. See you guys tomorrow.